Hi Maulers. In this video I go over the way I made the aft cranes. So this is part 19 of my trumpeter 1 to 200 scale Titanic build series. The difficulty in building the cranes is their small size, and a lot of the little detailed pieces are pretty tiny and may be hard to handle with your fingers. But with some patience, they can be done well, even for a novice like me. Now, the first thing that I did was I painted the Ponto's photo etch sheet with the crane pieces satin white. And I just used Krylon paint and primer, and it was satin white. Now, since one needs to do a lot of the bending with these parts, some of the paint will crack, and as a result, one will need to do some touch-up work once the cranes are finished. Alright, so the first step is to add all the detail to the main support of the crane system. So that's this thing here. There's a lot of little pieces to add, and then you got the platform to put together and paint. And so the end result is what this looks like. So you have all of the little tiny details added. You do have to drill a hole through here so that you can get this wheel and its little axle in there. And you do that, of course, before you glue this together. And it fits in there pretty good. And then you just add the little platform. You bend it in line, and then you just glue it on there. And I just use super glue to put the little brass details to this plastic part. Then the next step is to assemble the booms. And when you make the booms, and then you got to put in these little cross supports. These suckers are really tiny. And to give you an idea, now these are on a different sheet. So all of these little supports here are going to go into the booms as well, but they're very tiny, so it's going to be tedious work, but it can be done. And you also have two options with these cranes. You have the option of putting a line that's straight across, and then the boom will sit at about a 45-degree angle, and then you've got some photo etched parts that are made it in such a way that it's the cable is in a relaxed position, and then the booms will sit straight out, and they will then just rest on these, what they call these jib crutches. Don't know why they call them that, but that's the name. So then they just sit on these little crutches. And so what I decided to do was kind of do half and half. So I have the one crane here finished, and it's just straight across, and you can see it's got the photo etch detail line here that looks like it's just resting relaxed, and at the end there's really no hook on this, but when we get to the other one where it is at an angle where now you got the line taut, this is just the way they're bent. At the end you get this little hook that you have to put on right on the end of the wheel. So it just takes a little lining up of that, and that will work pretty good. So half of them are like this, and then the other half are going to be straight across in their resting position. And then for the cranes that are up front, I'm just gonna put those in their resting position straight across. But that's basically how I did the cranes. It took a couple hours to do these. It's not that they're difficult, it's just tedious work that just takes some time and patience, and it can be done. And here is the end result. And you can see now these crane booms, I don't have them glued yet. I just have them sitting on the crane bases. But some of them are 45-degree angle. You can see this one here I have sitting on the little jib crutch. And then the same one in the well deck, I got the one over far over here. That one is at 45 degrees, and then the other one I have sitting in its resting position on the jib crutch. And I have yet to do the cranes that sit on B deck. They will be next, but the cranes are done. Just need to mount them there. So that's what the cranes look like. Before I end, in the last video I had mentioned I had an idea of how to put a light on the mast. And in the rear mast, put it in here temporarily. Now about up at this area here, up at this section here is where a light, I think, is supposed to be on this ship. And I was thinking of using these little 402 SMDs. And the interesting thing is what I could do is, since on the back here, one of the deck houses, it's where the some of the elevators go, and the machinery sits here to get the elevators up and down in these deck houses. But on some of the plans that I've seen, the deck house is an area where you have some rigging attached to. So my thought is to put the light up here and then just use the positive and negative lines and have them double as rigging. And that might look pretty good. I haven't tried it out yet, but that's some of the ideas I'm thinking about. If any of you maulers might have a better idea, I'd be interested. But that's my idea of how to light up the masts there. Same way with the front. The front's supposed to have a light up there somewhere too. So that's the idea I'm going to try, at least for now, to put a light on the mast. Okay, well that's it for this part. In the next video, I'm going to start beginning to do some work on the bow. So until that time, have a great day.